Alright, how's it going, guys? So today we're going to be doing an installation on Dan's 2015 STI. What are we putting on today?
We're going to be putting on APR's new GTC-300 wing. It's kind of a new run that they're doing. It's going to be a direct bolt-on into the factory OEM wing mount holes versus having to drill extra holes into a trunk.
Right on. So it's, what, 67 inches wide?
67
right?
inches wide.
From side to side, so it's going to go pretty close out to the end of the flares over here.
Pretty much even on each side.
Cool. So it should look pretty badass. And then you got the stock wing with the password JDM little, what do they call that again?
I guess like a wing gurney.
Wing gurney or whatever, but that's a badass part. If you guys haven't seen that, go ahead and check those out. But alright, let's get down to it and we'll start the install. First we're going to open up the trunk and pop this wing off. Alright guys, so once you have your trunk open, you're going to want to go ahead and pop off the factory clips on this inside piece here. So locate those factory clips. You're just going to take a screwdriver. You can take it on both ends. Just lightly pry it in there. It'll pop out. Once you take that out, you'll be able to kind of wiggle it out of there and it'll pop off. Place these to the side. Make sure you don't lose them because you're going to need them later on. And once you get those all out, you should be able to remove this inner liner piece. After you remove your trunk liner, you're going to be able to access all the bolt holes that are on here. So you take the nuts off. You're going to use a 10mm extended socket. Since this is kind of deep, you are going to need an extended socket. Now do the same thing to this side of the car. Because you want to be very careful because there are long studs, so you can very easily scratch your deck lid, which you obviously don't want to do. So I would recommend having another person for this operation as well. That way you can pull it off and not be freaked out. We were able to pop this off. You're gonna have to give it a little bit of force. We'll kind of show you guys what we're looking at here. So right here you can see there's these little pop clips. So that's something you're not really gonna be able to access. So you just have to get in there and just pull up. So you're gonna wanna put equal pressure on the car. That way you make sure you don't bend the trunk lid or anything like that. You can see there's a little bit of insulation tape on here and then just the 3 clips. Now that we have that off, these are the mounting areas. This is a great time to actually get in there and finally clean this spot up because you're never gonna access this again, most likely, unless you take the wing off. So I'm just using a little bit of Chemical Guys Eco Smart and we'll just kind of wipe this off. All right, now that that's all cleaned up, we can go ahead and install the riser base. So be careful when this thing opens up because it opens up really quick. So you wanna hang on, that way, you know, make sure you don't have anything up here or you're gonna just make it projectile catapult like onto the front of the car or something like that. So just make sure you hang on to it when you open the trunk. All right guys, so you have these bolts here. That's for actually mounting the wing to the wing bracket. These ones up here are for mounting the bracket to the actual trunk. You have lock nuts. Those have the nylon stuff in there, so those will actually lock on. So you shouldn't need any thread lock or anything like that. You have the washers that are going to go in between these bolts, and also you have these nice little Allen wrench bolts. These are APR Performance. They have it like written in there, so that's pretty cool. And those will go on the side fins. So go ahead and get your base mount. This is made of some rubber and it's cut out with the bolt holes. So you can go ahead and line that up on the top of the trunk. Here's the mount. It's all made of carbon fiber. It's really nice, high-end stuff. This is an alloy here, this whole area where it bolts in. So I recommend just kind of putting that on top. You're going to want to grab each one of the bolts and just kind of put them through, and then you can reach in from underneath and we'll be able to thread those up. Okay, so go ahead and grab the rest of those bolts. They're about that long. You'll have 2 smaller bolts. Those are going to go in the hole that we're going to drill later on. Go ahead and grab your washers and your lock nuts, and we'll go ahead and put these all in. We put a little piece of painter's tape on the socket in between the bolt. That's going to allow it not to fall out basically when you're just putting it in there, because you don't want this falling again in the wing. That's going to be a real pain in the ass to pull out. So we're just going to put it on there. Like I said before, I did already put the washer on there. So we'll just kind of put it on finger tight until that poly lock hits. Then we'll pull that out. Go ahead and try to get that little piece of tape out of there so you don't leave it in the car. The hole I thought was just going to go straight through, but it actually ends up to where you're going to have to drill a little hole here. I'm going to do a quick pilot hole and then I'm going to unibit it out so that it's similar to these, so we can just get the bolt in there and we can easily access it with a socket. It's a possibility you could get in there like this and get it from the side, but it seems like it's going to be a real pain to get in there. So I think this is just going to be an easier way to get this done. Grab that. I made a little mark here. We're just going to try to drill a quick pilot hole, and then we're going to open it up. You can see that little hole that we drilled right here. That's going to be a pilot hole. I'm going to use this unibit, and we're going to try to open that up quite a bit. That way, like I said, it's pretty similar to these ones here. I like the way that looks there. So that lines up with the hole really nicely. Now that's going to be hot after we're using this because this drill bit gets nice and crispy. So go ahead and make sure not to touch it right away, but we'll try to get that bolt going through. Because it's just going to be like easy. Now we have those 3 bolts on. We're going to drill the outside final bolt last because we want to have the wing all mounted up and located correctly before we drill that last and final hole, because that is the one hole that would not be covered by the factory wing if we were to screw that up, and there's not a lot of wiggle room on that one, so you want to do that last. But anyways, just go ahead and repeat this process on the other side. Like I said before, you might be able to get in there with a wrench like this, but you also have to like get it on to the bolt and hold it on there. I don't know, it seems like it's going to be really difficult, so this was the easier method for us, and this is going to be covered by that carpet, so you're never really going to see it again either. We've got these on each side, so basically just do the same process on each side. We have not drilled the outer holes yet because, again, we want to line up the wing and make sure that it's in the proper orientation and that it looks proper on the car, and then we can bolt everything down and get those last 2 bolts in. So right now we're going to bring over the wing and get this bolted up. So right now we are just picking the bottom hole here. So we're just going to go ahead and put the bolt through and the nut on the other side. And we'll just put the lock nut on it. We're going to go ahead and tighten this down real quick. I'm doing it with the impact gun, but I'm not actually going to really put too much torque on it. Just speeding up the process a little bit. Like I said, I'm actually holding that back with my hand. I'm not actually letting it do a burnout or anything. Just want to tighten these down. We're going to do that on both sides. That way we can get the wing centered on the car. So we'll go ahead and put the end of these on. These are really nice. They're carbon fiber laminate, so, you know, nice and thick, good stuff. So we'll line those bolts up. And we got these really nicely made bolts. We're going to go ahead and thread in there. And again, they do give us the Allen wrench provided in the kit. So that's nice. Thank you, APR, for doing that. Tight. Alright guys, so moment of truth. We're going to drill the last hole. So do not apply pressure to this. Just let the drill bit do the work. You want to go all the way through. So I felt the first layer of sheet metal, so we want to keep going. All right, now we are all the way through and we can repeat the process on the other side. So we'll go ahead and bolt this one up real quick. Okay. That works. Yep. All right guys, so we got the wing all bolted on. We're gonna go ahead and just put the inner trunk liner back up in here. Just pop your clips back into the holes. Boom, like that. Do them all, and then you will be finished up. All right, guys, so we finished up the installation on Dan's car with the APR wing. This thing is looking pretty badass. It's adjustable. I showed you guys the adjustment points earlier. Overall, it looks awesome on the car. Gets tons of looks, brakes, necks everywhere. At the car show that's going on right now, just everybody is checking this thing out. So, I mean, if you guys want to add something cool to your ride that helps out with aerodynamics on your 2015 STI, or 2016, go ahead and check this out. So, yep, overall that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.